This lens comes with everything you'd expect from a high quality rangefinder lens. We have clicked apertures, a focusing tab, a hyperfocal scale, a minimum focus distance of 0.7 meters, all in a very nice metal construction. And the lens only protrudes from the camera by 33 millimeters. The lens comes with a focusing chart and flathead screwdriver for any focus adjustments that may need to be made. While this sounds difficult, it's actually quite easy. You measure a 2-meter distance from the lens to the camera, create a 30-degree angle, and focus at 2 meters. If the rangefinder is perfectly lined up and the corresponding distance matches on the barrel of your lens, you're good to go. If not, it's as simple as unscrewing 2 screws at the rear of the lens and adjusting the barrel clockwise or counterclockwise, and then refocusing to get the desired 2-meter distance. The camera has a very small form factor and sits snugly at home on any M-mount camera. Its matte finish and sleek design makes it a must for any street shooters out there. Your response would have been the same as mine at first. How can a lens that costs $350 actually be any good? What sort of resolving power and sharpness and color rendition can we really get from a $350 lens? And that's where I was extremely and pleasantly surprised. Now the lens has 7 elements in 5 groups and is of sonar design. Now this is a very old classic lens design that has been around and stood the test of time throughout the decades. Now the lens is meant to have a classic look to it. Now, this can vary from user to user depending on what your version of classic is. In my mind, this lens is very comparable to the Leica 40mm F2 Summicron that I've owned in the past, whereas I have beautiful color rendition, amazing images, but also this lens brings with it that modern sharpness and coatings that a lot of the old Leica lenses don't have. Now, while I don't have a digital M to put this lens on, the lens with an adapter fits right at home on my Fuji X Pro 2, and with the Fuji X Trans sensor, this lens produces some amazing results. Now the lens does have some issues with barrel distortion and flare. Barrel distortion is just one of those things that comes with the territory of shooting a 35mm lens, unless you're paying $4,000 for a Leica one. But it's really manageable and it can be fixed in post. As you can see here, the lens does suffer from chromatic aberration in high contrast areas. We have a decent amount of purple colour fringing at the edge of the window frame in this photo. Likewise, and something interesting to note is in this photo here, we actually have the appearance of some yellow chromatic aberration, which is something that I've never actually seen before. I think it's actually a lot more pleasant to look at rather than the stark purple chromatic aberration that we usually see. As far as the flare goes, it can create some interesting subjects, but it's just one of those things that if you know the lens and you know how it occurs, you can work around it not to get that sort of thing in your image. Now for a lens to be so cheap, guys, you're thinking there must be some sort of issues, but there's got to be something wrong. Now there's no issues with the lens from my experience. I think it's a fantastic performing lens, but I can see where they may have cut some corners to save a few costs. The 2 major things I can see is 1, the fact that you may have to refocus your lens manually if it's not focused correctly. This has obviously saved them some money having a technician doing it in a factory, and that saving has been passed on to us. The other thing is quality control, guys. Now, on my lens, there is some paint smudges on the etching of the hyperfocal distance scale. It's not a big deal, it really doesn't bother me, but I just thought I'd state that. Obviously, there's a little bit of quality control, and obviously it would cost more money for them to individually inspect everything coming off the production line. So again, that saving is passed on to us. And the main thing, guys, with this lens is, for the price, it is an amazing lens and a fantastic performer. If you go into this lens thinking that you're going to be getting, a Leica Summicron experience, you're going to be disappointed. But if you come into this lens thinking that it is a very, very cheap alternative, the cheapest 35mm lens that you can buy brand new for your Leica system, you're going to be extremely thrilled and happy with the results, guys. I'm ecstatic. I think it's an absolute win for 7artisans, and I hope we see a few more come out in the future. Maybe a 50 F2 to compete with a Leica Summicron. If it's the same build quality and same performance, I'll be happy as hell with that.